for some boom, baby, boom, rise and shine. Oh, there's that little flower cardigan. There's like a chair with a bunch of flowers in the back of a truck. I think it's for a girl's quinceañera or birthday or something. Look like a bunch of 15-year-old girls in prom dresses, but there it is, the horizon, the ocean, and this morning's motivation is wherever you go, there you are. Having this conversation this morning with my lovely wife here over breakfast at the Happy Zone, and the question came, I would make more money if I was in Las Vegas. I missed a bunch of phone calls, but I also told her, yeah, but then I would be there and not with you. And that's a big thing when you're thinking about it, because it's also where you place your brain. And this is Saint's Addiction, morning motivation, leg out. It's true. Not only do we go places in the world, but we go places in our brain. And one of the things that was kind of cool yesterday was seeing somebody I met on Ko Chang. And Ko Chang was super litty titty. And then the homegirl was rolling past us, and I was like, oh, hey, small world. And then my other friend's posting about Boracay, but he was here in December. And as I look at this beautiful girl and this beautiful green mountain behind her and the sunshine, life is short, bro. I was watching a special about Thailand weed last night, and the girl that had breast cancer, and she's an avid horticulturist and grower, and she said life is short. Money isn't important anymore. It's your quality of life and quality of time. And that's where you got to shine. When we respond to certain things in our mind, that's where we're going, where we take it. I usually try to explain it with like wearing a coat, If you want to get the yellow coat or the red coat or the blue coat, matters not. It's more like, is that an angry coat? Is that a happy coat? These are feelings that we wear and we don't even know it. We literally choose it and just go, you know what? That pissed me off. No, you let it piss you off. And that's a huge realization to come to and be like, okay, now I'm wearing the angry hat or the angry coat or my angry mood. And it's hard for us to choose between moods or attitudes or anything else. And that's where we are. We take it there. We go inside of our heads and we go, okay, that's the way it's going to be from here on out. And that's the way that we live. I was watching him, John Paul Getty, and he didn't look happy at all. World's richest man at the time in America. I'm like, why is this guy name I hear all the time? Getty Museum, Getty in Los Angeles. And turns out that's just the way he rolled, bro. He had a scowl on his face. He's not a happy camper at all. And it's like, oh man, who wants to go there? Who doesn't want to see their girl in their bikini? Sexy girl, sexy girl. Woo. You almost got flashed. Okay, can I see? Can I watch? But, I'm watching my mood, watching my attitude, and watching the direction that we go in. Heading back in less than a week back to Ko Chang, back to Thailand, back to legal weed, maybe some dentistry, you know what I mean? And that's what she hit me up for before I started the show. She's like, hey, can you send me that number in Manila so we can make sure it's a good place for us to get our teeth clean? And that's these kind of things that we handle overseas that would have been infinitely more expensive, especially when it comes to oral surgery. You're talking maybe 60, 70% less off 70% off of what you would have spent in America. So sure, I missed the flyer order. Someone tagged me on Facebook, or this guy had a stand in Staples and 45 minutes to get his order in and wait all day to get the order finished and all these things, that's where you are in your world, in your mind, the way you create it, the way you see it, the way you want to feel it. And that's why I could have said in this morning, it's like, it's a small world. I'm bumping into people that I have seen from around the world. And then I got some friends that were here in December, but now are gone. The morning motivation, and sit here under the the sun, well, in the shade, obviously, I'm not sitting directly in the sun, but under the sun of the Boracay sky, and it kind of rained last night, and then all of a sudden the whole sky opened up and the moon kind of came out. It's a half moon, but it made way, and it was like really loud, then really quiet, then peaceful as fuck. And I was just like, I wouldn't have got to see that if I was chasing a flyer. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have got to observe the beauty of watching my girlfriend in her bikini that I made for her, or her going what's the other thing, snorkeling, and yeah, it's shining on me, and all the things that I would have missed, like the Shine Museum, or my fucking life in general. And that's what it is. It's like I quickly realized, like my dad would say, son, 80% of life is hard work and 20% is play. And I was like, oh hell no, and fuck that. Make my life 80% fun and 20% work. And it's turned out a lot like that. In his world, he had to raise 4 or 5 different children, and that cost a pretty penny. But at the same time, he got to become a father and keep drinking. We all choose a path that we don't even see through yet. Like, are we going to be selfish with our time? And maybe I'm like selfish with my time as a traveler, not having any children, not having anyone to give it to, right? Pay it forward. My brother just had a kid, or at least that's what I heard, and he's never even introduced me to him. He didn't call me and say, hey, you're an uncle, or awesome sauce, and let's have fun, and all that shit. No. I found out through my mom at the airport, like a regular ass Joe, you already know. So, it just goes to show. Look at these heads on me. The backpack. I want these whiteheads off my shoulder. It's the backpack where I'm holding it. But that's what it is. Wherever we go in our minds, in the world, in our attitudes, will determine everything for you. And that's what's important. What's that, babe, love? Use the water. Thank you, my love. Yeah, teamwork. And who knows what we're going to be at this summer. They won't let me back in Finland, and I can't go into Europe. She's sad about it, so I don't have to hear any more Belgium stories. Belgium this, Belgium that. Nobody cares, you know what I mean? It's where you are that counts, babe. In your mind, because there's a whole world out there where people care a lot about their country. I'm not in Iran right now. I'm not worried about missiles coming overhead, or UAE, or Dubai, or Abu Dhabi, or Saudi Arabia, or Bahrain, or anything else like that. Iraq, you name it. Just a shitty place to be. And my friends are calling me and they're going like, are you safe? And I'm like, this is insanity. You were just with me knowing about the Cambodian border and the conflict with Thailand and their little war spat, but we didn't see any of that. Now, as soon as she goes back to Europe, she's full inundated with the conspiracy theories or the propaganda or whatever she's watching on TV, wondering if I'm okay in the Philippines. I'm a half a world away from the Middle East. I'm as far gone. Why didn't you ask me about Taiwan? That would have made more sense, But there's no conflict there. So just weird, people that do travel still aren't brave, and people that have traveled are wary of the propaganda and are scared for you. And wherever you go, there you are. Because when I was having my dream, I didn't tell you this last night, babe, but somewhere in between the air conditioner popping on and off 4 or 5 different times, right? But yeah, I had to get up and unplug it and plug it back in. That's so much fun. Broken sleep. Somewhere between like me not finding a place to live and my dad throwing my shit out and my little sister, there was some weird shit like that. There was also a flash of my homie Terry Zwirling, and I thought, holy shit, he didn't even make it to 70. I think he was 58, 62, maybe 65 years old. And he died. And I was like, holy shit, there was 3 of my friends that died in a row. Chris Suoapia and Damien. It was just a trip to say that these are guys around my age. Damien was exactly my age. and they're not alive anymore. So it goes to show, you can weigh me, trade me, bullshit somebody else, but literally, dude, life will snap you up. And then it's over. So all that money chasing or worrying about what deal I could have had, fuck that. I'm alive. And as long as I can make my life something into something I can stand, something I want to be a part of, something that interests me, something that drives me and motivates me and keeps me healthy versus the, oh, one day, I'm talking like Elon Musk talking about in the future of abundance, you won't have to worry about having a savings account. And everybody's like, oh, you're blowing it, Mark. You're supposed to have savings and, investments and make more money and invest. And I'm like, yeah, but you're all stressed. You know? Goes to show the Banksy, one of my favorite Banksies is him. There's a homeless man and a man with a suit and a briefcase, and both of them like, I need more money. Right? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maybe it isn't just the money. Maybe it's the perspective. And as I met somebody that I haven't seen in a whole different country, and then my other friend was just here and he was doing the video, and it's a small world, but not everybody is making their world wider in their mind. So yeah, I could be in Vegas sitting there in the hot ass motherfucking sun, burning up, hating life, single, no ocean in sight, no trees in sight, but I got that deal and I made an extra $100. With that other $100, I got fat. I started ordering more. This is the balance of it, right? So, triple bacon cheeseburgers, two double doubles, protein style. No, not protein style. I eat the bun. Animal style fries with the Thousand Island and cheese on top. You want to know why Americans are so wide? It's all about the food we have inside. And that's what we do. We go work so hard that we place a reward system in our brain and say, I deserve this. I deserve this purse. I deserve this vacation. I deserve this meal. Well, deserve adds up, and pretty soon it's around your waist. It's around your heart. And then you're surrounded in an environment that has no green, It's arid. It is a desert. It's one of the hottest places on earth. And I was looking at some of them, the Iran borders, I guess all the way to the Caspian Sea. It was beautiful green. But then on the north, they had one of the highest peaks, old volcano, I think 5,000, almost 6,000 meters tall. A dormant volcano. It's the largest peak in all of Asia, right? And the rest of it is two arid motherfucking deserts looking like small Gobi deserts. And they're in a drop of rain. So like things that make you go insane, your environment, your mentality, your habits. We looked at it this morning. The guy was talking about what these habits, good morning habits, getting sunlight on your eyes instead of putting the blue light from your phone. Huge game changer for me, especially getting up early, starting my circadian rhythm, getting it going and making sure that I'm in flow. We actually took a nap yesterday, but a solid 8 hours of sleep is crucial. This is from that heart surgeon. He also did another one, just how damaging, 10 out of 10, alcohol, damaging for the heart. What else was damaging? The sleep. He said, even him as a doctor, he's always struggled with sleep. 10 out of 10, you got to get good sleep. You know what I mean? And these are all the things, as we all learn all of the things through AI or videos or doctors, it's all on tap. Or now it is, you just do a search and go, should I eat my salad before my meal or after my meal? Me and her getting into it over Orion, the stars all the time. Is that Orion? Yes, bitch, it's Orion. No, it's not. Okay. Should we eat salad before or after? You guys tell me, I looked it up, but it's good for digestion. I heard once you put the green in, it kind of clears the way for everything else. She's saying specifically France and Italy eats it afterwards. They put the vegetables afterwards to really punch it through the gut, apparently. The point is to live, Eat before, eat after, who fucking cares? Nobody's going to be watching. And that's, shut the fuck up. Somebody's going to be watching. And that's what I learned. There was the Iranian guy. He was a wrestler. And I don't know if you've seen those juggling things. Have you seen them where they're like really heavy, like almost like 50 kilos? They look like bowling pins, and guys use them to swing them really heavy to get their forearms going. It's a real struggle. It's all about wrist control. Have you not seen these guys juggle it? They look like bowling pins, but they're weighing like 20, 50 pounds, and you got to really get it going and get your grip and get your forearm. It's a workout, right? And it's kind of like a kettlebell. You know, a kettlebell? Of course you don't. You look confused. Kettlebell, you know, from the Russians, they make the weight and it just has one handle. The kettlebell, it's like that. And the dude was saying it was his uncle, and he moved to America from Iran, and his uncle wasn't really that nice to him, right? And he was just like, yo, do those exercises. He's like, wait, you're not going to sit around and watch me do it? And he's like, do it, don't do it, but we're going to know by the results if you do it. You know what I mean? That's it. I'm not going to sit here and count your 50 reps, bro. Either you do it and you're a winner, or you don't do it and you stay a loser. Up to you. I don't give a shit. Now clean up your room. Like, you know what I mean? Like, zero fucks given. And he was absolutely right. Nobody's going to sit there and watch you keep track of your habits. I keep saying no one's going to throw the remote out of your hand or the cookies or whatever else you've been fucking around with. Your finger fucking your phone, just, you know, and it goes nowhere. But your time will keep ticking. And that's what's important, is to keep thinking, okay, I'm here now. I don't want to be anywhere else. I want to be here in my now, happy with my power of what I can create versus, oh, one day. No, it's day one. You know, some people do day one or some people do one day, and that's a choice. And then to go to Boracay or not go to Boracay, up to fucking you, bro. You know, my friend was here in December, just bumped into another friend, and we're here now. Let's go back to Manila and get our teeth cleaned. 60 to 70% off. Cleaning, whitening, you know what I mean? And the oral surgery is even better when you're in Thailand. You know what I mean? It's one of these things, like, because we get to do that. Or I could have worked all year for a corporation that I didn't like so I could have health care, so I could finally get some dentistry work done, but it was super expensive. It would be 60 to 70% more than what I would spend in Manila. So it's not just a discount, it's a way of life. And we all have that perspective, you know, and that's what it was. It's just a healthy perspective of wherever you go, there you are. And it's a strong statement because, yeah, I could be in Vegas making some money and stacking some chips, but then I would be in Vegas and I wouldn't be as happy. I wouldn't be living, L-I-V-N, living, you know, and that's what it is, you know, living my life, my blessed life with my blessed wife, and the way that we live, doing something different every day. It's also a challenge, and going to a different beach and keeping a smile on her face, you know, stretch it out, babe, I see you, and that's it, you know, you got to go there, and wherever you are, there you are, and that's just what it is. So I just said to myself, I don't want to do this anymore. Fuck you, shoe. I just switched around and wants to fly around, but I want to go places, you know, not only just in my mind or in my dreams and my imagination, but actually physically see them and look at my horizons and be inspired and not count what's missing, right? I want to count what I can create. And that's what's important. So it's just that, you know, watch your mindset, watch how you put your attitude up, because it will determine all the different outcomes of our lives. And like I said, I'm watching Paul Getty, and he didn't look happy at all. And I'm going to move this over here because it's getting hot over here. Watch yourself, babe. There you go. Too slow. You get watch it. And she's like, what does the word watch mean? And it's like, it's already happening, lady. There it is. Just like that. Got to create your own shade. And that's where it's at. So, you know, getting off some of that heat. Whew. I can feel it. Because if I'm over here, I'm burning. And if I move myself, I'm in the shade. And that's a good metaphor for what's going on, you know? To put myself in a healthier place. You know, you ask, you know, would I have made the money? But would I have had my mental health? That's part of the calculation most people don't calculate, you know? How much of their lifespan do they have to give up to these things? And that's a bigger question, you know? Like, oh my God, I don't want to be here, but I need it for my health insurance, but my health insurance is marked up and I'm not happy for a whole year, but I saved up all the money to hand it to an expensive dentist, and, you know, Part of mental health is also the stress level, right? So if you want to stay stressed the fuck out, that's gonna cost you too. So keep grinding or keep shining. Really, legitly up to you, But Lao Tao Kun, it's gonna be up to you. And I just like to be mentally prepared wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, and ready for life in general. All my friends, they got lapped. They're not living anymore, and it's passed them by. I've known them for shit too long, and now they're gone, and that's what life's like. So you're playing a game. It's like a video game, and you might want more chips or I don't know, a shield or something. You know what I mean? But it won't save you from the deathbed. It won't save you from the eventuality that it will end in a snap. And that's why I said this is my life yesterday. This is my life, to roll down the hill and go get breakfast or wake up and eat our eggs and pancakes with the shell in it. I love it. Makes me crazy. But I'm also alive. And, after waking up about 4 or 5 times last night, trying to save the aircon, almost kicked it through the door, dude. Look at this. Look at this. Kicked it through the fucking door, bro. And that's what life's like. And you're on the other side, and you're sitting there going, okay, at least I'm living, It might not be pretty or picture perfect or a bunch of savings or any of that other shit, but it is my life, and I did live it all the way from little clean green Boulder City, which I created. And I said that, they were like, what would the youth do? Babe, I got the Mission Impossible, the MIP. You know that? Minor in possession. I was drinking a beer at the park when I was underage. I was like maybe 15, 16, and the cop pulled the light right when I was mid-drinking on my face, right? And my friends scattered like cockroaches, ran, pew, 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 and I was stuck, right? And they were like, okay, where's your dad? He was out drinking too. So they put me with the neighbor. We're sleeping on the couch, and of course my buddy who ran ended up showing up, so we're all sleeping on the carpet because he was supposed to spend the night. And my dad had to come into the city hall with me, and they were just like, okay, kid, like write a 100-page essay or, on things to do in Boulder City. So I wrote this paper, and I called it Clean Green Boulder City because I heard that the trees used to grow over the street, And now they use that term. But I was like, oh, you need to make a movie theater. And, me, entrepreneur, I dropped all my ideas. I was like, oh, you'd make the movie theater at the old airport. And there should probably be a revamp on the bowling alley. And, I'm having all these ideas and throwing them out there. And, of course, some of them they used and some of them they ignored. But the point is that, I started being creative from Boulder City. I was like, I'm just going to create my world. You know what I mean? I'm going to create this city, and then I'm going to go over the hill and create Vegas and experience Club Utopia and have all my 20s in college. And I can't get the time back, but I spent it, and I'm glad the way I spent it. I got to look back and say, it's not always about spending. It's about quality. And that's what I was thinking. It's like, it's not just necessarily what the price is. Rich people care about what the value is, right? So sure, we're spending more money at Sunnyside Cafe, but the value's amazing. It's got a fucking beachfront property, and the food is ridiculous, and yeah, it's American prices, but I felt everybody that was around there, and I even said that. I said, I think that people get it, that there's quality here versus me getting my free meal and I got an eggshell. You know what I mean? So, quality is way more important than price, and time is more important than place. So, just put that equation in there. Got eyelash out of place, but whatever. It's part of life. But, it's just that, I think we put a lot of emphasis on how much it's going to cost instead of how much it's costing us. That was like, wow. I was shocked by it. When I was having to get my health insurance, selling cars and shit. I had a cocaine habit. How much did that cost me? You know what I mean? And that's the heart surgeons telling us in the morning, right? How much is your non-sleep costing you, and your dental and your all-around mental health, it's all adding the fuck up. So you might count instead of blessings, you might count your change or your income or your bank statement, but it ain't the same as how much it's weighing on your heart or your midsection or your mind. You know, this stuff plays, and it pays to pay attention, right, babe? I keep telling you, you know, it pays to pay attention, to be mindful and be like, where am I right now? Not just physically, but mentally and spiritually too. There's levels to this game, bro. Levels to this shit, and you got to be on your level to be the shit. And that's when I noticed she was thinking about someone else. Like, her body's here, but her soul was somewhere else, you know. And same for me. The other day I said, I think you see me, but my soul's still in bed, you know. I was so tired. I said that, you see me here, but my soul's somewhere in the bed levitating. Homes, it's levitation, homes. So as the Tenacious D lyrics on shirts, all the blessings, you know, I just hope that people live fully. And that's what we say over a print an hour. You can't buy time. You can't buy time, but we can. You know, and in other words, speeding up your printing process and getting your shit done before waiting in line for 45 minutes to get your order in at Staples, and then they take all day and they don't give a shit about the rush order or your delivery. There it is. So we're all here on this level, but maybe not the same level. You know, we're on the same planet. As I see white turtle doves fly by, look at them go. In an ocean view, if you're asking me how much does it cost, it's my health, and it's incalculable. It's priceless, and so is time. So, you know, go ahead, try to buy more time. That ain't happening. And call it what you want, you know, but it's life, and how we spend it will determine everything. And I wanted to live, and I want to live with you, and wake up in the morning with you, touching you on your butt, and trying to find a nut. Just a squirrel trying to find a nut. So what's up, you know? And all of us need to find the nut we need to chase. That reason why we're getting woken up. And this morning it was to get breakfast, but you know, I also want to see what happened with the UFC fights last night too. So yeah, yeah. So wherever you go, there you are, you know. And we're here now in Boracay, and it's a blessing just to be able to see the ocean, that blue little line right there, you know, and these green trees behind us, you know what I'm saying? And then breathing, even though I still got a cold. Oh, so nice. Such a blessing. Look at that. So yeah, how much does that cost? Free to me. Love is free. The sun is free. I am free. And that's the blessing. So you can calculate it however you want, but there's multiple calculations and levels to this game, and you don't want to miss one single level because it all adds up to your overall well-being. You know, that's the wellness wheel, your financial, your spiritual, your physical, you know, it's all part of the plan. And I'm grateful that I'm living my life like I can, you know. This is one of those where I just like, wow, everything's new, and what are we gonna do today? Probably go to Puka Beach. We've been planning on not scuba diving, I keep saying it, not snorkeling. It's kayaking. Kayaking to the Bat Cave. Got a Bat Cave. All I'm saying is that you won't see Batman and me in the room at the same time. I'm not saying that I'm Batman. I'm just saying it's really wild how I have Clark Kent curls, but with Clark Kent, now I'm Superman. Yeah. And that's what we do around here. We live it our lives, baby love. And I'm here now with you. So let me get off this thing with you people and go live my life fully and enjoy it. Get some of these eyelashes out of my eyes. Yep. And go live my life. Peace and love. And as always, Chi-Gatan. That means goodbye, but not forever in Finnish. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe. The other side of your fear, the other side of your excuses, and the other side of the world. Because that's where we'll be. Peace. Peace, babe. I'm going to show off this water. shit, something's exploding. Did you hear it? Something's blowing up. The dogs are barking. Oh, there you go. Security dog. Oh, they're all running. Something happened. Babe, something happened. People are jogging it up. I think someone got hit. I don't know. Something's going on. The kids are running. I totally heard something. Now the dogs are barking. People are running. I can't see through the tree. I hope they're all right. I don't hear anybody crying or screaming. Shit. That's how fast life changes, homie. I heard something go boom. Well, there's some traffic going by. Let's see people in their lives. Did it flip over? I hope everybody's all right. I'm gonna get off my live. Peace. Did you hear that? You didn't hear the boom?